Hello guys, this is the pre-market analysis of 10th of July. So we will look at the details and we will look at yesterday's TCS results, and then today we are going to get a gap up opening of almost 120 points. Okay, so Gift Nifty is indicating around 24,130, which means we will be getting a gap up and it will be around 24,080. 24,080. So the next level of resistance is going to be 24,200 itself. That's the critical resistance. 24,000 could be the support. So most probably the market will be in that range. So we will look at that. We'll look at ADR. Yesterday, IT ADR is looking very positive despite not that great TCS result, and there are fresh arbitrage positivity from banking ADR also. That's something which we can discuss, and then definitely US Iran update and the oil price and US markets and all these is what we will be looking at. So let's start with TCS results. Okay, so results, in fact, it's in line with the expectation. So, it did not impact much in the market because everything is already factored in. If you look at quarter to quarter revenue, it's 2.2%. That, in fact, beat the expectation. Net profit is minus 2.7%. EBIT is minus 3.1. EBIT margin is 24%. If you compare previously, it was 25.3. So if you look at the expectations, the analyst expectation, in fact, the revenue beat the Bloomberg estimate. But in terms of net profit, if you see EBIT or EBIT margin, it came marginally below expectation. So in fact, this is not going to make a bigger impact on the market. So it's not a great something beyond expectation or something which is very far below expectation. It's marginally below expectation. So anyway, it's already factored in. So the reason for the lower profit, that's around 670 crore, there is a legal settlement impact and that affected the profit. But the positives which are highlighted by the management is added around 9,300 new employees. That's the highest, in more than 3 years. And annualized AI revenue actually increased from 2.3 billion to 2.6 billion. That's again a positive, and declared a dividend of 12 per share, right? So that's actually below the analyst expectation. The expectation was around 19 per share. So the results was overall mixed. But if you look at ADR, the initial reaction in Infosys ADR fell more than 2%. Wipro ADR also fell because there will be an impact of this into the other IT stocks as well, as I've told you. So that also fell almost 2%. But after the commentary of the TCS management, Infosys ADR recovered around 2%. Wipro also recovered around 1%. So the takeaway is market reaction, in fact, turned positive after the management commentary, after those points which I've told you. So today there is a arbitrage. In fact, if you look at ADR, it turned positive. So IT can be flat, but banks are more positive. So let's see. I'll be talking about banks also. Okay. Now here, US Iran update. So US Central Command again said it struck more than 170 military targets over the last 2 days. So some way there is some kind of escalation which is going on. And if you look at the shipping reports, we can see some conflicting reports actually. So some reports is claiming that shipping traffic have completely stopped. But yesterday I was watching this NDTV Profit, and they have reported that 53 vessels transited, and out of which 20 Indian flagged vessels. So that means almost 1/3 of what is actually going to pass through. In fact, more than that, 40% is Indian ships, which has already passed through that. And on regular basis, it was around 60 vessels. So yesterday, 53 means there is nothing much decline. So if you look at the positive development here, Pakistan and Qatar again trying to bring US and Iran back to negotiation. And Trump also stated yesterday, when you got that big candle, you remember, on the upside, Trump said Iran contacted him and Iran want to make a deal. And he questioned whether Iran was worthy of making a deal and all those. Now, if you look at oil prices, WTI is around 72 per barrel and Brent is around 76 per barrel. So oil price compared to yesterday, it declined 2-3%. That's actually good for the market. And there is a positive Fed minute, and in fact, that actually led US market also slightly positive. So Dow Jones have closed 0.3% positive, S&P 0.8% positive, and Nasdaq 1.3% positive. So if you look at VIX yesterday it was spiking, but today it fell around 6% and moved below 16. That means fear is slowly going out. So the day before yesterday, what you have seen was a kind of knee-jerk reaction. And if you look at Gift Nifty, as I've told you, 24,135. So even if you are giving some 60 premium, right, we have around 15 more trading sessions left. So 50, 60 premium if you give, So we can expect 24,070, 24,080 level. So the immediate resistance now is at 24,170, 200 level. Support is at 24,000. So we are getting a gap up of about 100 point anyway. So HDFC ADR is positive. If you look at the ADRs, 1.4%. ICICI is positive. So in fact, both ADRs are giving some kind of fresh positive arbitrage. Yesterday, if you look at institutional activity, despite day before yesterday being buyers for 2004 in that crash, but yesterday FII sold for 530 crores, right? And DII is bought for 2,250 crore. So if you look at the option data, new call option interest, the new call open interest added at 2.4%, put added at 17.5%, which means I told you yesterday this is the important level 23,800, 24,000. So aggressive puts will come, put writing will come. That's exactly what happened. So more puts, that means this level will continue to be a support, and the PCR have improved from 0.81 to 0.94, which is close to 1, which is getting at least neutral now. Participant positioning, retailers 19.3% bullish, FIIs 18.6% bearish, and prop traders are mostly neutral. So retailers are bullish and FIIs are bearish. So overall, if you see, TCS results was mixed, but ADR is showing some kind of positivity. Trump said Iran contacted US for negotiation, which is again positive, and because of that, oil price also declined compared to yesterday. And compared to yesterday's market, today we had more positivity, and we are getting a gap up of more than 100 points according to GIFT Nifty. And US markets also closed positive, which is again very good. IT ADRs and banking ADRs is indicating positive sentiment, but this weakening geopolitical uncertainty that may trigger some kind of profit booking. That's a concern, and some kind of short covering also can happen. So even if we get a gap up, whether that will sustain or not, right? We get a gap up. So we have seen when the tension was there, whenever you get a gap up, it is getting solved up, and whenever you get a gap down, it is getting bought into. This is what we have seen. So let's see whether you're going to see the same scenario, or if it sustain, it will be good to short at 24,200, 170, 200 range, rather than shorting at the opening itself. So, or wait for a buying opportunity at 24,000. It will act as a support. So these are the main points that I want to discuss, right? Important levels, 24,200 at the resistance, and above 24,200, there will be a bullish trigger that we can say. So most probably 24,200 will act as a resistance, and 24,000 at this moment is going to be the support. So this is going to be the range mostly for today, and it's Friday. Mostly it is going to be a straddle day, so you won't be expecting too much of move on Fridays. I trade very less on Fridays, especially the expiries are over, and Fridays even I also trade very less, because what you see normally is you'll see a building of a position, and it's mostly in the first 5-minute candle range only. For most of the time, afternoon you may get a spike here and there, morning you get a down spike, and then there will be aggressive put writing, right, when the put premium is inflated, and then there is an up spike. So the put premium get deflated, and call premium you can sell. So you can make your position, you can build your position and keep it in that range. That's what normally you'll see on Fridays. So let's see whether 24,000 they bring it and sell more puts, and take it to 24,200 and sell more calls, and keep the market in that range or not, is the scenario. But in between, you'll get a lot of scalping opportunities also. So try to capitalize upon that. But since being Friday, trade very less. That's better for you. So see you guys tomorrow. Trade carefully, trade responsibly. All the best.